I knew when I married James that I was entering more than just a sexual relationship. I was entering the life of his son, Ryan, who was 19 years old and in his second year of art school. Ryan was a quiet but intense young man who was always covered in paint, and I had previously seen his expressive works. Raw was very emotional, and even though I didn't know much about painting, I could see he had genius. Our relationship began civil, but aloof, and I never thought he would consider me to be more than his father's wife. He wasn't impolite, but he avoided interaction. Beyond simple greetings, I saw that he wasn't having an easy time. His mother had passed away years before, and though I wasn't trying to replace her, I was still an outsider in his world. One evening, I came home from work to find Ryan sitting at the kitchen table, flipping through a sketchbook. With a deep frown, his frustration was evident in the way he ruffled his dark curls and exhaled sharply. "Everything okay?" I asked, setting down my purse. He hesitated before replying. "Not really. I have a figure study due next week, and my model cancelled on me at the last minute." I didn't think before I spoke. "I could help if you want." He blinked at me. "Surprised you? Be okay with that." I shrugged. "Why not?" "I mean, as long as you don't mind." He hesitated for a moment, as if weighing his options. Then he gave a small nod. "Okay. Yeah, that would actually be really helpful that evening." I stepped into his world. His studio was a converted attic space, filled with canvases, stocks of sketchbooks, and the distinct smell of paint and turpentine. The walls were covered in unfinished work, some abstract, some portraits, others. Landscapes, it felt like, stepping into someone's mind, a place where thoughts and emotions took form in colour and shape. He set up a chair near the window where the warm evening light cast soft shadows across the room. "Just sit naturally," he instructed, his voice more confident than usual. I perched on the edge of the chair, unsure of what to do with my hands. "Relax," he said. "You don't have to pose, just be comfortable." I let out a small laugh, shaking my head. "Easier said than done." He smiled, an actual smile, the first genuine one I had seen from him. Then he picked up his charcoal and began to sketch. At first I was self-conscious. I could hear the scratch of the charcoal on paper, feel his eyes studying me as he worked. But as the minutes passed, I found myself relaxing into the quiet rhythm of the moment. The room was filled only with the distant sounds of the neighborhood outside and the occasional shuffle of paper as he moved between sketches over the next few weeks. This became a routine. He asked if I could sit for him again, and I agreed. Sometimes he had me hold a book. Other times he asked me to gaze out the window, lost in contemplation. He tried out many media. Every time he became more at ease leading me, I became more at ease with him as well. Then, out of the blue, we began having genuine discussions between the strokes of his brush, rather than simply small chat. He used charcoal, pastels, and oil paints. Ryan revealed details about his early years that he had never spoken before, his battles with feeling as though he was constantly in the shadow of his father, his fears about not making it as an artist in return. I found myself opening up as well. I told him about my own dreams, the creative ambitions I had set aside for a more practical career, the way I often felt like I was living someone else's life instead of my own. One evening, after weeks of these sessions, he turned his easel toward me, revealing a painting that took my breath away. It wasn't just a portrait. It was me, but more than that. It captured something I hadn't even realized was there. Something raw and unguarded. I stared at it for a long time, unable to find the words. "You make me see things differently." He admitted, Not just as a stepmother, as a person. Tears pricked my eyes and you make me feel seen. That moment changed everything. After that, our bond deepened. We spent more time together, not just in the studio, but outside of it as well. He started inviting me to his school's art exhibitions, sharing his inspirations, even asking for my opinions on his work. And I in turn found myself rediscovering my own creativity, sketching in a notebook for the first time in years, playing with colour and form, in a way I hadn't since I was young. James noticed the change too. "You two have gotten close," he remarked one evening, watching as Ryan and I debated over a painting he was working on. I smiled. "Yeah, I guess we have." When my stepson was an artist, I never thought he would become his muse, but by posing for him, I became more than that. I became a part of his world, and somehow we found each other. Ryan looked up from his canvas, and for the first time since I had met him, I saw not just my stepson, but also a friend.